Ah, room 816. The interview.
Hello, come in. I see your name. It is Curtis, am I right?
Yes, sir. Nice to meet you, Mr. Yakamama.
Yes, that is my name, Mr. Yakamama. I head up this institute for the Big Money.
Ah, I see.
Now, you're interviewing today for my bodyguard position.
Yes, sir, I am.
It's a very important position because you will not only be protecting me, you will be protecting the Big Money. Now, starting with the interview. First question. How would you improve the operations of this facility? Keep in mind, I sometimes mess around.
Yes, I had noticed that you sometimes mess around, Mr. Yakamama, and I do think that the operation could be improved by eliminating some of that. If perhaps you chose to not mess around at all, that could be a good decision.
So you're saying I should not mess around?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Yakamama should not mess around?
Yes, sir.
I was getting tired of Mr. Yakamama sometimes messes around, hanging in the foyer. Well, Curtis, I think you have what it takes to be the bodyguard of the Big Money as well as myself. Here, take this uniform, and I'll see you at the job tomorrow at 0600 hours.
Thank you so much, sir.
No problem, Curtis.
This is my chance to get the big money. Mr. Yakamama and Dr. Excellent are in the other room messing around. I've been in the KGB for 30 years before this job, and having the big money would really help me to settle down.
Wow, I sure do like messing around with you, Mr. Yakamama.
It is so much fun. I'm so glad I mess around sometimes.
This is some big money.
I know. I have lots of money, and that is the biggest of the money. No! Someone stole the big money!
His
No!
sheepskin sure is stylish.
Ah! My hand!
It's a pity that Mr. Yakamama was a casualty of this. Alright, CVS. Find a place to hide the big money. The contact solution. This will be the perfect spot. This. I will hide the big money in this. Hospital room 816.
Well, Mr. Yakamama, when I was getting your meds at CVS, I heard someone saying that the big money was hidden there.
The big money.
Oh.
At CVS.
Curtis, you're here.
Curtis, I should have listened. I was messing around, and I lost my hand. Because the big money was stolen.
Oh no. What a disaster. I'm so sorry I wasn't there, Mr. Yakamama.
It is okay. Your shift began at 0600 hours, and it was currently 0500 hours at the time of the incident. So you would have been there in an hour. It was not your fault, Curtis. It was mine for messing around. From this day forward, Mr. Yakamama does not mess around. Dr. Excellent, is there any possibility of getting my hand back?
Well, if you look at the X-ray here, I wish you had a bone that I could reattach your hand to. I'm not playing a game. The best I can do is a claw.
A claw. Possibly something good for me not to mess around with.
That's
Indeed.
what I would advise, as an excellent doctor.
Well, Dr. Excellent, I will leave now. With Curtis, we have much work to be done to get back the big money.
Thank you, Dr. Excellent.
See you, Curtis.
It's so good to be up again. This time, I will not mess around.
Sorry, sir, I don't think I have any more appointments today.
Oh, I do not need an appointment for what I'm about to do to you.
Why do you have that knife?
Well, you want to know what it is like to be skinned alive? Let me tell you this, you're not about to have much of a choice, Dr. Excellent.
Get back!
After I'm done with you, I'm going to be Dr. Excellent. Ah! He is dead. Now I can look and act just like Dr. Excellent. The most excellent doctor in all of Hackmiel.
It's the perfect disguise.
Oh, Curtis. I've been thinking about things. Like this game that never came out in the US. 2002 came by. It is now 2006. Some say it might never come.
It's a pity.
Anyway, this is my file on Hackmiel, where I believe the big money is hidden. I've already sent my son ahead to track down the big money, and I was hoping you could go too and help them out.
Well, certainly. That would be in my job description. I will, of course, do that, Mr. Yakamama.
All right, thank you very much, Curtis, and I assure you, I will not be messing around any time in the near future.
This will not be a problem. They will never find where I've hidden the money in CVS. Hello, sirs. I need to recruit people to help me retrieve some big money, and I was wondering if you guys would be interested.
The big money, I've heard of it. We have no use for the big money. We are but a small country. We don't have any need for such a thing.
I see. All right. Well, thank you guys, and if you change your mind, please let me know.
Yes, of course. Sir. Here, would you like a native Hackmiel dish?
Oh, it looks wonderful. But
It is called Hecklin.
well,
Hecklin.
I do appreciate the offer. Thank you, but I'll pass.
Well, it's not like we needed the big money anyway.
But, brother, I need an operation
What?
on my stomach.
No. Is this their weight?
You know the fire sticks?
No.
They cause something in my stomach.
No.
And I need the operation.
I can't believe this happened to you.
I'm so sorry, brother. I would go, but I am too sick.
Yes. I must get the big money for you.
Thank you, brother.
Well, Mr. Yakamama, I can't help but feel partially responsible for losing your big money, so thank you for letting me come along.
Oh, it is no problem, Dr. Excellent. It was no fault of yours, it was mine.
I just feel like I should help out however I can, because, I mean, we were messing around.
It's true, but I cannot believe that my own son would defect. Well, hopefully we can make it to the CVS in time.
Indeed.
I'm so glad we are here in Hackmiel. I've always heard it's such a beautiful country. That the rains get nice and cold, but also the sun is nice and warm.
Yeah, I've got a lot of temperature variation around here.
Is it true that the dish of Hackmiel that I cannot pronounce is actually just silly string covering Cheez-Its?
You know, that's a pretty common misconception, because that's really what it looks like to a lot of visitors, but it's actually a very interesting concoction of native plants and Cheez-Its.
Native plants that look like silly string.
Yeah, we got some weird stuff over here.
It sounds good to me.
Not that I'm a local, but I've
Yeah,
been
you
here
don't
so
have-
long that
You don't have much of an accent. I took you for a local at first.
yeah, I've lived here for a while. I started picking up a few, little mannerisms and stuff, but in general, I've kept my individuality.
Like the little laugh that everyone does.
The hey hey hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. They just seem to kind of do it, whenever. I mean, I'm not trying to sound racist or anything, but they just kind of laugh at nothing, and it creeps me out.
What do you think, Curtis? You were in the KGB for many years.
It's been my experience that Hackmelians are somewhat maniacal by nature, which might explain the laugh. But again, that could be a bit racist to say. Mr. Yakamama, I've been curious. What caused you to raise an American son?
Well, you see, it was during the war. We were fighting in the fields. I was part of Vietnam but on the Chinese side, because Chairman Mao told me to do so personally. I always had a soft spot for the chairman, so I went. I was there and I saw many things as I helped the Vietnamese fight the Americans. One thing I saw was when they ransacked an American base, the only thing left was one American baby. He looked into my eyes, and I knew at that moment that I had to raise him as my son.
That's a very touching story, Mr. Yakamama.
All the years I've known you, you never told me that.
I know it's a very, very near story to my heart.
Well, this is the first time I've seen this side of you, Mr. Yakamama. They're getting pretty western over here in Hakmeal.
Yeah, we're in the nice part of town over here. There's, a couple miles down the road, you got nothing but farmland and then the little silly string forests.
Mr. Driver, do you know any Hakmelian folk songs?
I mean, my accent isn't very good, but I can kind of try to, sing a few lines for you if you want to.
I would love to hear one.
All right, Shmamista, Pishnabadi, Boss, Navazivada, Ishnivada, Misnifavashi, Fuskasamata, Shipafif, Nifishnabif, That's about all I know of that one.
What is that song about?
According to the locals, it's about some sort of girl that they met in, like, some dream state that was very attractive, but not really their type. But they had intercourse with her anyway.
The CVS.
Yeah.
Perhaps we will catch a glimpse of that gangster.
It's open every hour of the day, 24 hours.
24 hours.
There are more hours in the day here in Hakmeal than back home in Russia.
Curtis, I don't know how that's even possible. Yes, that's the gangster.
What do you think is in that bag?
Probably the big money.
Oh no.
Oh no,
How did he get it?
Sauce! Drive!
He's running!
We need to go,
Did you see which way they went?
I believe they went off there.
I think I can see them in the distance.
I
Don't-
agree.
Don't want them to know we're deep. Gotta be sneaky.
I agree.
Can't mess around here.
Correct.
He wouldn't dare spend the big money, not this soon after he robbed us.
How could you even do it that fast? I mean, I know that there's the internet and Amazon.com, but
That big money at one time going into an account, SEC'd be all over his ass.
they would send up the red flag and call me, and they'd say something like, Mr. Yakamama, someone tried to deposit the big money. And I'd say, I do not mess around, bring them to me. And then they'd say, okay, Mr. Yakamama, we will bring you the big money. And then I would have the big money again. There must be freaking out at every single car that drives by them, thinking
Mind
it's us.
games.
Exactly.
Sir, I've just received word from one of the agents in the area. They pulled into an abandoned school. This is it, sir.
All right, we're about to ambush these gangsters.
There's no one here, sir.
Oh wait, I see a light in the distance. They are taking off.
Gosh,
I think they have tricked us.
your son's making such an impossible burnout move in his car, I can't possibly follow him.
But that was definitely your son driving.
It had to be. No one else can do the kickback dropout turn.
I think you and him need to have a long talk, Mr. Yakamama.
We do a very long talk about some very big money.